Hi friends, let's talk about emotional eating, relational stress, and toxic relationships, where those three things meet. For many of us in toxic relationships, emotional eating habits are well triggered by the incredibly high levels of relational stress that's associated with the emotional and psychological upset and abuse found in narcissistically abusive relationships. Being in a toxic relationship causes significant relational stress. Your partner just isn't there for you, and it's an easy, slippery slope to turn to food to soothe your heart, to soothe your mind, and soothe your spirit. Food becomes that loving, nourishing partner that comforts you, doesn't judge you, is 100% legal, and it's always there for you whenever you need support. Eating becomes a close best friend and the perfect emotional numbing agent for all the hurt, the anger, the sadness, and loneliness of these relationships. And it doesn't exactly help that you get a dopamine hit when you're having carbohydrates in your body. So your mind and body are working against you. I know for me, I wasn't an emotional eater until 3 years into that toxic relationship. I'd gained a few pounds, and then this terrible cycle started. I lost the weight, I would feel really good, and then I'd gain all the weight back. And that repeated for the duration of the entire 20-year toxic relationship until I left. And I'm 5'3", and at one point I had reached 181.5 pounds and was wearing a size 14, but really needed a size 16. I couldn't really bring myself to buy the next higher size. I was very uncomfortable during that particular season of my life. Not only was I alone in my marriage, but I also was having great stress at work. And all of those things converged with no emotional support whatsoever during this period. And I remember driving to work. I'd stop off at the coffee shop in the morning, and I'd grab some of those white powdered donuts, and I'd also select a candy bar for a treat at lunch. And on the way home, I'd even get an ice cream sandwich as a treat just for making it through the day. And, during that whole time, gummy candies were always my thing. During this toxic marriage, I turned to gummies like Swedish Fish, Mike and Ike's, like all the flavors. I used to love the ones with all the red in the box, and jelly beans. And somehow those gummies helped me to think and soothe. And when I had a really hard time in life or an event or whatever, I would turn to food as my emotional support. I know I'm not alone, and I just wanted to, let's look a little deeper at 8 ways relational stress triggers emotional eating. The first one is your partner is emotionally unavailable. There is no empathy or compassion for you, and you have no means of emotional support. You're basically all by yourself. Your partner has also triangulated with you and others and compared you to others. They may have even isolated you away from your own supports. And you may unknowingly have had toxic friends and family in the mix too. Well, you felt all alone, and so you turned to food. The second way is your partner criticizes you. They say that you're the problem, you're too needy, you're too sensitive, you're too crazy, you're stupid, you're fat, and whatever else, fill in the blank. They completely shatter your confidence, and there's absolutely no encouragement whatsoever. Your partner may even mock you, poke fun at you in a mean way. They may poke fun at your voice, your mannerisms, your facial expressions, and your partner doesn't even seem interested on the positive side either, like when you experience success or kudos. In fact, they may even be very jealous and envious of your own success. So of course, you turn to food. The third way, your partner doesn't respect your boundaries or any time you stand up for yourself by saying the word no to something. They are continually crashing your boundaries despite your efforts to communicate to them. You are completely frustrated, you feel discouraged, and of course, you're going to turn to food for help and support. The fourth way is your partner doesn't make you feel good about your body. They make discouraging comments about your physical body. They point out your weight, your clothes, your thinning hair, your sagging underarm skin, XYZ, whatever it is. Whatever you are self-conscious of, they will make sure to keep pushing that specific insecurity button. Some comments that my clients have shared with me over the years is, you look like a boy, despite the client being a very feminine and beautiful woman. Your hair is too short, or your hair is too dark. That haircut doesn't look horrible. And this one client shared with me that one night she set up this amazing date night with her ex-husband. She got dressed up. She really felt beautiful and sexy. And her ex-husband refused to go to dinner with her and insisted she change her clothes. He didn't like what she was wearing. And you know what? I am so proud of my client. She went out to dinner by herself and she looked all sexy and beautiful, and she just went on her own. And by the way, there is also this very weird obsession with hair characteristics. Hair color is too light, hair color is too dark, haircut is too short, haircut is too long, style isn't right. And of course, with any negative comments about your physical appearance, that can be a huge driver to turning to food as comfort. This other person doesn't even like who you are or how you present in the world. The fifth way is reactive abuse. They push your buttons, they gaslight you, they give you all these words and the word salad until you're so confused and you don't know which end is up. You end up doing things that you're ashamed of in the course of interacting with your partner. You may have tried to slam the door and it may have busted the glass out. Maybe you were yelling and arguing in front of the kids, or you were just so upset that you just walked away without any resolution. And now you have low courage to try to resolve whatever unresolvable issue that's never going to be resolved, to try to resolve that, right? And of course, you're going to turn to food as comfort. The sixth way is your partner is so dismissive of your emotions, especially fear. Like when you share you're scared because maybe they're driving too fast or erratically, or they might be driving while they're texting on their cell phone, or they insist on driving after drinking more than a few at an event, and or you don't want to go on a roller coaster ride or go on the Ferris wheel or whatever your thing is that you're fearful about. But once you share that you're fearful, it is game on with that. They wouldn't even consider slowing down or talking to you or making a correction or making you feel comfortable with whatever they're doing. Oh, and anger, you can never be angry with them. And this is a complete dismissal of your emotions and your care. And as a driver, it turns into you turning to food as comfort. The next way is your partner is very passive aggressive. They purposely don't do things that they agreed to. They delay taking action like they said they would, or they do things half-assed that you might as well have done it yourself. You're never able to get your partner's attention when you need to talk about something important, and you feel so much out of sight, out of mind, like you're a pet to be played with only when your partner wants to throw the ball. It's also at times when you and your partner disagree and they insist that you do things their way or leave. It's their way or the highway, and you don't have a sense that you'll ever be seen as an equal partner in these relationships. And so you turn to food as comfort. And the last, eighth way is physical intimacy. Physical intimacy equates the emotional connection between two partners, and it's a coming together of two bodies and minds and emotions, together in physical intimacy. In these types of relationships, physical intimacy may be on a spectrum. At one end is endless sex, with physical intimacy that's seen more as a sex act. And on the other end is a sexless relationship where there is less than 10 sexual connections in a year. And oh, by the way, you might not even be aware that there might be a porn addiction going on in the background. And that can be for both men and women. There may even be a complete absence of affection in your relationship. There's, rare kissing, rare touching, rare eye contact, or you don't even smile at each other anymore. And your partner may even be coercive when it comes to sex, or a complete avoider when you initiate sexual encounters. Not having your physical intimacy needs matched in a relationship can lead one to turn to food as comfort. And I'm sure there are more ways in which emotional eating is triggered. Go ahead and drop those in the comments below if you've experienced anything in regards to emotional eating as a direct result of relational stress, of a toxic relationship, or narcissistic abuse. And, toxic relationships really do leave a person malnourished emotionally, which then drives the emotional eating cycle where we are nourishing ourselves with love, with support and encouragement and validation, which we should be getting from our spouses, but we turn to food for that instead. And peeling back the layers that we all have that basic need to be seen, heard, known, and understood. And those of us in these types of toxic relationships, we need to release that guilt and shame of these relationships and really go inward to feel and heal our emotions so that we can release the emotional eating component. Emotional eating, when it goes unchecked, can cause major health issues with weight gain, diabetes, heart issues, low self-confidence, a lot of shame. And if you or someone you know is in need of support, I'm Coach Denise, and I'm a trauma health and wellness coach with over 10 years experience in the health and wellness space, and I help people heal from toxic relationships. I currently have an 8-week transformational program that focuses on 3 main pillars. The first pillar, you heal from your trauma that you've gone through during the last relationship, so you don't bring those old bad habits into the future relationship. The second pillar, you'll rebuild your confidence from the ground up, even if you thought that was never possible, or if you could be a whole person again. And I know a lot of people don't think they can ever heal from toxic relationships, but you can. And the third pillar is where you'll get back in touch with your mind, body, and spirit holistically so you can actually thrive in this world rather than live in fear and scarcity for the rest of your life. If you're interested in coaching, please reach out to me. My contact information is in the video channel information below.